Here's a photograph researchers have used for decades to study compassion. A 7-year-old girl from Mali, named Rokia, malnourished, dark eyes, direct at the camera. Show it to a room of people, ask for donations, and the money comes fast, and it comes generous. Then add one sentence. Tell that same room that millions of children across the region face the same hunger she does. Same girl, same face. One more fact bolted on. Donations drop. Why does a single child's story wreck you completely, while a number standing in for 1 million children leaves you strangely, almost eerily calm? That's tonight's question. And you don't care enough is not the answer. Here's what almost no one knows. Compassion doesn't just fail to scale. It can start collapsing the moment you add a second person to the first. One person in danger, and something in you moves. 2 people in danger, and measurably, your brain starts pulling back. There's a clinical name for that. Cold, precise, and nothing like a moral failure. Stay, and you'll never read a headline the same way again. This isn't a flaw in your character. It's a flaw in your wiring, and once you see it, you'll notice it everywhere. The GoFundMe with one crying mother's face raises more in a night than the news segment about a famine raises in a month. The trapped miner gets a rescue effort watched by the entire world. The genocide gets a paragraph, then gets scrolled past. You've felt this. The stranger's dog stuck in a well, and you refresh the local news for an hour. The death toll from an earthquake on the other side of the world, and you read the number, felt something flicker, and kept scrolling. That flicker is the whole story. It's not nothing, but it's not what the single face gave you either. And there's a reason for that gap. There's a number where compassion doesn't just plateau, it reverses. And it's so small, it will unsettle you. We'll get to exactly what it is. For now, understand this. You are not broken for feeling more about one stranger than about 1 million. You were built that way, on purpose, by forces that had nothing to do with morality. Here's the mechanism, and it starts with 2 parts. The first is called the identifiable victim effect. Give people a name, a face, a single life in danger, and something ancient in you switches on. The same circuitry that kept you alive when your entire species lived in groups of a few dozen, where every threat and every rescue had a name attached to it, a face you'd recognize by firelight. Your brain wasn't built to process crisis. It was built to process her, this one, right here, right now. The second is scope insensitivity. In one well-known study, people were asked how much they'd pay to save migrating birds from drowning in uncovered oil ponds. 2,000 birds, 20,000, 200,000, a 100-fold increase in the tragedy. People offered almost exactly the same amount every time. The scale of the disaster moved. The size of the feeling didn't so much as twitch. There's a third piece to this, and it's the strangest of the 3. The one that turns compassion doesn't scale into something closer to compassion actively retreats. We'll get to exactly how far in a moment. Picture the exact frame in the meantime. A single missing hiker in a mountain range. Search helicopters cutting overhead, a name trending by evening, strangers wiring money before midnight, before anyone even knows if he's alive. Now, picture a wire report of a landslide in a country most people couldn't find on a map. 40 names never printed, a single paragraph, read once, scrolled past in under 2 seconds. Something in you treats one identifiable face as urgent, personal, yours to fix. Add a number, and a colder mode switches on. The calculating mode, the one built for spreadsheets and tax returns. It's an excellent tool. It is almost incapable of feeling anything at all. You already know this feeling. You've lived inside it more times than you'd admit. The GoFundMe with one photo, a father outside a hospital room, exhausted, looking straight at the camera, $40,000 in 6 hours. Scroll down on the same page, past the disaster relief fund for the flood that displaced 11,000 families, and it's sitting at a few $100s, untouched. The missing local girl whose photo stayed on your phone for a week. You remember her name. Still, years later. The headline about 140 people killed in a factory collapse overseas read on the same day, and by dinner, you couldn't have repeated the death toll if someone asked. You saw this happen with a plane crash once. The first headline said 230 passengers, and it barely registered. Just another aviation story on the way to something else. Then a single detail surfaced. One man had switched flights that morning to make it home for his daughter's birthday. Not on the plane. Missed it by minutes. Suddenly, the whole tragedy had a shape. You thought about him for days. You never thought about the other 229 at all. The co-worker who mentions, quietly, that her mother has 6 weeks left and the entire room goes still. Someone's hand moves to their own chest. Compare that to the open enrollment email listing how many employees' family members will be diagnosed with a terminal illness this year. Nobody's hand moves. Nobody remembers the number by lunch. This isn't callousness. This is architecture. You are not choosing to care less about the many. Your attention was simply never issued a system that could hold that many faces at once. Think about the last time a war death toll updated in a headline, the number climbing by 4 figures, and you felt the same thing you felt the day before. Not less, not more, nothing new. That flatness isn't apathy, it's a ceiling. And almost no one ever tells you where the ceiling is until you hit it. Here it is. The number where compassion starts to reverse isn't 1,000,000. It isn't 1,000. It isn't even 10. It's 2. Researchers who study charitable giving have run the test dozens of ways. 1. Identified victim in need pulls in a certain average donation. Add a second identified victim, same photos, same names, same real suffering, just doubled, and the average donation doesn't double. It drops, sometimes below what the single victim raised alone. Read that again. Not flattens, not plateaus, drops. The moment a second real, named, suffering person enters the frame, something in you starts closing the door it had just opened for the first. This is psychic numbing, compassion fade, if you want the softer name for it. And it is not a failure of character. It's a ceiling built into the machinery. The same machinery that once kept a person alive by making them care fiercely about the few dozen people in their line of sight, and functionally nothing about the tribe over the ridge they'd never meet. You were never given a moral compass built for scale. You were given one built for a village. Everything past the village, everything past 2, starts to blur into arithmetic, no matter how real the suffering is. The tragedy was never that you don't care. The tragedy is that caring was built with a hard stop, and nobody ever told you where it was. Here's what this actually hands you. Not guilt, an edge. The next time a massive number fails to move you, a war, a famine, a layoff affecting thousands of people you will never meet, you'll know instantly what's happening. You're not defective. You've hit the ceiling, and the ceiling has a name now, And knowing exactly where the ceiling is means you can climb over it on purpose, instead of assuming there's nothing on the other side. The move is simple. Re-individualize it. Don't try to feel 11,000 displaced families. You can't. Nobody can. Pick one. A specific family, a specific name, a specific kitchen table that used to exist and doesn't anymore. Let that one carry the weight the number couldn't. Then act on behalf of all 11,000 anyway, using the part of your mind built for arithmetic, not the part built for feeling, because now you know the feeling was never going to show up on cue. This works off screen too. The group chat asking you to care about everyone going through a hard time right now will always lose to the one friend who texts you the exact thing that happened Tuesday at 11 p.m. When you need someone else to act, for a cause, a fundraiser, a request at work, don't hand them a statistic, hand them a face. You're not manipulating them. You're speaking the only language compassion was ever fluent in. Zoom out far enough, and this stops being a story about charity, or news, or donations. It becomes a story about the species itself. We built a world that can show us a massacre and a birthday party in the same scroll, back to back, at the same size, in the same font, and expect the same heart to make sense of both. Our compassion is still running on hardware designed for the 150 faces we'd see every day of our lives, back when a crisis meant someone in your line of sight, not someone 6,000 miles away. Flattened into a headline. Everyone past that number was never fully real to us, not because we're cruel, but because reality itself, at that scale, was never something our minds were built to hold. The internet didn't make us numb. It just handed us more numbers than any heart in human history was ever asked to carry, and left every one of us to discover, one scroll at a time, exactly where we break. So here's the question worth sitting with, long after this ends. The next time a number this large fails to move you, a headline, a death toll, a crisis too big to picture, will you mistake that silence for evidence there's nothing there? Or will you recognize it for what it actually is? The sound of your own wiring reaching its edge. Because somewhere between the one face that wrecks you and the million you can't feel at all, there's a choice, sitting quietly, waiting. Not a feeling, a choice. You were never given a heart big enough for everyone. You were only ever given a heart honest enough to tell you the truth about that, if you're willing to listen to what it doesn't say.